Hi, good day. My name is Mark Hardwick and I'm the MD of The Guardian. If you're watching this video, it means that you would like to explore a bit more regarding our safeguard solution and how we're rolling that out within schools. So to unpack where this comes from, firstly, I think it's important to bear in mind that South Africa has arguably some of the best reactive legislation in the world, but proactively our legislation is sorely lacking. Interestingly, the only two pieces of legislation that really do talk about proactive is the Sex Offenders Register and Child Protection Register. If we were in any other country in the world, there would be legislation forcing schools and organisations that engage with children to be far more proactive in solutions that they bring to the table. As The Guardian, because we are working so extensively in sport, and sport needs to operate on an international platform, and so sport has had to up its game to meet safeguarding at an international level. And so what we have done is we have repackaged what we are doing within the sporting federations that we are working in so that it fits within the school space, really to create a space where schools can choose to bring first world safeguarding solutions to their school, even although it's not legally required. So let me explain what that means. We refer to it as the 4 and 6. The 4 and 6 is essentially the 4 things that the school needs to do from an administrative perspective to make sure that the school is meeting best international standards from a safeguarding perspective. The 6 is the 6 things that every single educator, coach, administrator, volunteer, long-term service provider, all of these people need to do these 6 things. So, let's go through it. The 4, number 1, is your policy. Your policy manual is vital. It's the rules of engagement. It defines how we play the game of safeguarding when we come into your school premises. That safeguarding policy cannot be something that just sits on the shelf that nobody has a look at. We tick the boxes because we needed to have the policy and now no one engages with it. Additionally, it needs to be of enough substance so that it addresses the real challenges that learners are facing today. An example would be if a parent arrives at the school today drunk to fetch their child, is the educator who's standing at the gate, do they know what to do? Do they know how to address that? What about the policy pertaining to your change room? Do you apply what's known as the rule of 2, which means an adult may never be alone in the change room if there's children there? That is your change room policy. What is your policy pertaining to tours? What does your online policy look like? What does your drug policy look like? These are all policies that need to be in place because they define the rules of engagement. The second element of the 4 is a DSO, or a designated safeguarding officer. This is a course that we will run for your designated safeguarding officers. There should be at least 2 designated safeguarding officers. Certainly in a school that is co-ed, you should have male and female. In bigger schools, they choose to have a male and a female in the education side and a male and a female in the sports side. In schools that go from primary school through to high school, you would have DSOs in your primary school and DSOs in the high school. The responsibility of the DSO is not the same as a school counsellor. The responsibility of the DSO is not the same as the discipline officer or anybody else like that. The DSO is to look at everything the school does through the eyes of safeguarding and not reactive, although they will have the skills to address reactive, but to consistently look at it proactively. The DSO needs to take responsibility for policing the policy. The DSO needs to take responsibility for making sure that everyone is cleared against the various registers. If there is an allegation, they need to kind of have a look at what that investigation would look like. The DSO becomes pivotal in ensuring that what is in your policy is adhered to and being enacted. The third is anonymous reporting. The value of anonymous reporting in schools and in organizations around the world is unprecedented. There's legislation in South Africa saying that businesses have to have whistleblowing and anonymous reporting solutions. Why not in schools? What about kids that are going home to horrible secrets? What about the fact that I may know that my friend has this terrible secret? And if that is the case, what do I do with that information? We have had educators, learners, parents sending through reports in schools that have engaged using this anonymous reporting app. And in the schools where it is rolled out and being rolled out effectively, it is working phenomenally. And then the fourth is communication. And very often schools will look at the fourth one as the least important of the four. But the reality is it is the glue that pulls it all together. Where is your policy document? Is it on a shelf somewhere in someone's office? Or is it on your website? Have we bullet pointed it and put it up and around the school so the kids are aware of what the policies are? When we look at the specific policies pertaining to the change room, is that up and around the school? Do the learners know easily how to access in an emergency situation the DSO, as an example? What happens when someone comes to your school? Are they aware of the photography policy? And what is the photography policy? We need to ensure that parents or people coming into your school premises are just not at random taking photos of the kids. What's happening at the school gala or at the school play when kids are dressed in less than their uniform, and those photos are being taken? We know that photography is a grooming mechanism towards trafficking. And who is everybody that is taking photos on the stands when the school gala is happening? Do you know? The photography, we need to be having signs up around the school saying no photography. That communication is extremely, extremely important. So to recap on the four: policy document, DSO, anonymous reporting, and communication. Now we look at the six things that every single educator, coach, administrator, volunteer, long-term service provider, and that may be the person that runs the tuck shop or the uniform shop or whatever, they need to do these 6 things. The first 3 are clearances. They need to be cleared against the sex offenders register, the child protection register, and have a criminal check done. Those 3 things must be done by everybody who is engaging with the school. The fourth thing is they need to all ensure that they have done a declaration of good standing. We want every person to sign a document to state that they have never been asked to leave any organization or left any organization under any smoke and mirror suspicious circumstances. We don't want someone coming to our school because there was an allegation against him or her at the school that they were previously at, and before a disciplinary inquiry could be run, they resigned. That declaration of good standing they need to sign. The code of ethics is number 5. They need to sign a code of ethics that they agree to the ethical standard of the school. And I'm not talking about just signing a document that says that they'll be nice to protected demographics. I don't want them saying that they're going to be nice to people who, or just say they're being nice to people who are disabled or of a different race or of a different sex. Those are important. That needs to form part of your ethics, your code of ethics. But more than that, there is an ethical standard if you are going to engage with children that you need to adhere to. And that ethical standard needs to play out in the way you dress, in the way you talk, in the way you engage with learners, the way you behave online. What are you putting on Facebook? These are things that define the ethical standard of your school and how you want your educators to be behaving. And then finally, the SAC or Safeguarding Awareness Certificate. It is an online certificate that educators are doing right around the country at the moment, and every single person within your organization, in your school, needs to have done this SAC. It is an overview of what safeguarding is, and it gives them an understanding of how they address or how they understand safeguarding. We cannot continue to do what we've done in the past. Countries with proactive legislation have significantly lower child abuse statistics. Countries with no proactive legislation have much higher child abuse statistics. South Africa is one of those countries that is leading when it comes to child abuse statistics. And incidentally, we have very poor proactive legislation. There is nothing preventing you from ensuring that your school meets best international standards. So on your watch, the children at your school are safer. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. My name is Mark. You can get hold of us at mark@theguardian.co.za or admin@theguardian.co.za. Our phone number is 031 001 0101. And we look forward to hearing from you, to having a conversation just around how this would fit and roll out within your school. We look forward to hearing from you.